The following is a presentation of Geekster Media.
Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to another month of Thrift Store Horde. Oh, we've been hitting the shops, we've been hitting the shows, we got stories to tell, we got treasures to bring to your eyes. So I'm Adam, good to be here with you, but we got Kevin
Hey, I'm back again.
and Chris.
Hey, good evening, guys.
All right, so we're gonna get rolling here because there is man, I know you guys have both said you got piles. I got some piles. I don't think it's anywhere near approaching what you have, but I think we're gonna have some fun things. So, Chris, why don't you kick us off this time?
All right, I got a couple small things I hit. So I've gone to a couple shows this week or this month. I sold at the Lynn County Flea Market in Albany, Oregon. It was really busy, so I wasn't able to shop as much as I wanted, but I did get a couple fun things that trade from another vendor friend of mine. I also hit up a doll and teddy bear show up in Portland and found a couple neat things up there. Not necessarily where I normally would shop or where I will likely go again, but there was a couple things to be found. And then just a couple different antique stores that I hit up. So I got a couple, sort of spread the range. Not as much thrifting as much as treasure hunting this time. So I'll start off with something small, but something I've been hunting for a while. Everybody knows the Kerwin Frost McNuggets. Well, I kept pulling the same one every time I bought them. I kept pulling the same one, and it was not the one I wanted. So I went to a friend's antique store, Coin Corner and Hobby in Oregon City, and they had a number of them sitting open on their shelf. And one of them was the brick, which is the one I was hunting the most because it looks like a sort of a Mr. Freeze looking chicken McNugget. And I was the one I wanted when I first saw those things. So I was super excited to finally buy it without having to buy 15 Happy Meals.
Yeah, well, and I should tell you this will make you upset probably, but the one Kerwin Frost Happy Meal that we bought, that's the one we got right off the bat.
Nice. Then at a local antique store, I went in. One of my friends is downloading unloading a lot of his stuff, and he's got a booth in that antique store. He's friends with the owner, and he has a ton of cool stuff. I've been trying to get a few things from him, but he just sort of would rather sell it there. So one I found is a vintage Hot Wheels police car. I just like these old packages. I always say I'm not a Hot Wheels guy, yet I have tubs and tubs and tubs of new Hot Wheels because I always grab the weird ones that really catch my attention, or police cars or whatever. So it was sort of nice to find that one. And not for typical antique store prices. I think he had like $1.50 on each of his Hot Wheels, or $2. So pretty good. Picked up this awesome little notepad, Garfield notepad at the flea market. Just always grabbing school supplies, as folks probably know by now. And then also at the flea market, I found this sealed box of the Pro Set Superstars music cards. I used to collect these when I was a kid. It was sort of, I never had the money for a box, so it's sort of nice to find the box for $5.
That's a sweet deal. Yeah.
I had to ask how much. Is it just me, or does that seem to be like the most overproduced card set? Because like those are everywhere. And like $5 is about what I would have spent too, but they are everywhere.
They are. I think for non-sports, I see them. I mean, I see just the cards floating around a lot. Not as much as actually the Looney Ball cards, or comic ball cards that came out. The baseball with the Looney Tunes. I feel like the first series of those I see way more of when it comes to non-sports cards. But those Pro Set did produce a lot of product in the 90s.
Oh, my vote is for the WCW cards, the ones in the purple package. I always see boxes of those.
Yeah, those are probably up there too. I've seen a lot of those as well.
Oh, I think Kevin might have one to show us here in a second.
Uh-oh. Well, while Kevin's looking for that, I'm a couple things at my friend's antique store, the Coin Corner in Oregon City. They have so much stuff, but they had a lot of role-playing game books in their section with their comics and magazines. And I found this book that I spent many an hour in like Walden Books when I was in high school, just sort of perusing this thing, and I never bought it. So finding it in a used bookstore just sort of threw me back in time. I had to grab it. And also the other one I'm collecting is Mutants Down Under, part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle role-playing game book series. I've got almost the full set of those. I think I'm just missing one or two of the books now, but I try to grab those anytime I find them. I'm likely not going to play any role-playing games anytime soon again, but I do love reading them and collecting them. So I'm going to pass it off to one of you all now, since that's 5 things for me, and I got a couple more I want to save.
All right. Well, Kevin, you jumped off there while Chris was talking. Start off and show us what you got.
All right, so we've kind of discussed it a little bit on here and a little bit off camera as well, and I know I need to do it. My to-do list is long. I know I need to do it, but I want to do like card openings, and when I'm all set up, we'll sync up on it. So I have a stack going, which includes 2 of the WCW packs, and honestly, I wish I got more. And then I also found an Adam. It's me. So I realized this might not go on the Geekster feed. It might go on my own feed. But I found bench warmers, which is, we'll say model cards. But a lot of what WWE added in the Divas search and similar, some of the girls are in this series as like their rookie cards. So just for an opening, as far as I know, it's safe to show on YouTube, as far as I know for these cards, but I won't do it live, I'll say, just in case.
I think you're right, Kevin. I think the bench warmers were more cheesecakey than rated
I don't think
R.
it's going to be, it's not going to be offensive. It's going to be mature, but not wrong. Okay. I got like a weird magazine stack here, and I'll run through these quick. But it was just like, sometimes, and I've mentioned it, you get an idea of what, a lot of this came from one person, but some of it is just weird sometimes. So I have an issue of Mad from 1997, but it's Mad because they need a proofreader. I just thought that was kind of funny and cute. Yeah. I know the Super Bowl is over, and we all know what a big sports fan I am, but we have the Cracked Football Special. It just looked really silly. Even the Salad Bowl, instead of the Bud Bowl, had Salad Bowl. Random Mad, again, this was from 97, so I guess the person was collecting all at the same time. I'm very disturbed by this one. I am very disturbed. It's a cracked one. I collected the Absolute Vodka ads when they were huge and in all sorts of magazines, but then I was also collecting like the Got Milk ads, and I would go through like magazine piles and like library book sales or garage sales or whatever, trying to find just the ads. I actually found early internet, I found someone's site that listed every magazine you could find the ads in. So then I was looking for those magazines. So I had the Got Milk collection. If I saw this back then, I probably would have added it to my Got Milk collection, but I would have been very disturbed. So it's a cracked collector's edition. This one's fine. It's a little Darth Vader milk parody thing. That one's cute. All right. The cover, however, seems so... All right, so what is this, 97 as well? 99. It seems so vulgar for 99 newsstand, and I'm just shocked. But I probably would have added it to the Got Milk collection time. 95, Adam. I don't know if you have seen one of these in a while, because boy, the magazines were disposable, but the previous order forms were even more disposable. So just a random one. I'm guessing someone threw it in thinking it was a comic, but it really is like just the order form. Like there's nothing to it.
Yeah, well, I'll say I
After-
recognize the characters on the cover because they were from Techno Comics. I'm pretty sure there was like a card
It's-
that was released in Wizard to promote them.
It's supposed to be Techno Comics.
I'm pretty sure.
I honest to God, I didn't like. I haven't gone through it in detail. I honestly God thought it was Wildcats. Honest to God, I thought this was a version of Wildcats. All right. I got one of these with the Sears comic book set in the Christmas wish list, but I can't find mine. So I was very happy to find one of these again. I need to watch this at some point in life, maybe, or sorry, watch it again. It's been years since I've watched it. But I found the Wayne's World Extreme Close-Up, which I believe came out during the movie. If I wouldn't have grabbed this otherwise, but then I had to when I saw what else was in here. It is Entertainment Weekly, starring the cast of 90210. Oh, we all remember. What a wonderful time. However, there's an inside article. Let's count how many times they mention people's names about Jim Lee and how he's changing the comics world with X-Men.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep. So that,
That's
like,
great.
I would have passed on just the 90210 if I wanted that Jim Lee one. And now just these came from a library, not one of mine, shockingly. But I found these while thrifting. I never saw them before. They're called Graphic Mysteries. So this one's on the Bermuda Triangle. Just look very cool. Honestly, I saw the spine and it reminded me of the monster ones you got a couple months ago. So, but it looks almost like classics illustrated style art. So I'm wondering if this is like reprinted from some previous thing. And I'm not quite sure. So I want to look into it. And then a graphic mysteries for the Loch Ness Monster and other lake monsters. Now there were some that were like historical, and again, this looks very much classic illustrated style here. So there were some that were like about foreign leaders, dignitaries, you know, like all sorts of things, but these were the two that interested me the most. And I don't think they make bags and boards big enough for this giant thing of the Mighty Thor.
Wow, that's what year is that from?
It is 1974. And I mean, it looks like, you know, the artist editions that IDW does? Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like, this is like almost full art page. I mean, obviously it's printed, it's got the coloring, it's got lettering, everything, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. And I mean, I understand why look at that. I understand why comics are the size they are for convenience, but to just showcase the art, I would love to have these. I would go I mean, they'd probably charge more than I'd want to pay right now for a new one. But if these were like just affordable reprints, this would be awesome to have.
Well, the price we pay for a comic nowadays anyway, it kind of feels like it would justify it.
I know. I mean, that's a whole rant for another day. But like, to do this, oh my God. I'm sorry, the more I look at it, the more beautiful it is. To do Kirby art this size is freaking awesome. Loving it. All right, I have everything else in two nice piles, but on to you, sir.
All right, well, I'll do my best here. I'm going to get into some books as well. The first one here, this was the simple solution to the Rubik's Cube. This is a vintage book from the 80s. I just found this in a random pile, and I was like, my son, you know, he's always watching like the speed runs of Rubik's Cube on YouTube and stuff. So I was just like, hey, if you want something to read in the car and learn some tricks, he's like, I'm good. I'm like, all right, well, I tried. Maybe I'll up my skills and then I can impress him. Always on the lookout for 80s children's books. So I have one of these to get another edition of The Wuzzles is always fun. Just one of those Disney cartoons that didn't quite take off, I think, the way they had hoped. But speaking of Disney, this is one of my absolute favorite old school Disney cartoons. And I didn't know they adapted it to a book. Lambert the Sheepish Lion. Yeah. So this is great. And it's from 1991 is when it was gifted. There's a little inscription here, but anyway, there's just a lot of great
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt or jumped in. No, I have to. I'm gonna assume I'm not the only one. when my kid was younger, I would get, random songs I remember from my childhood and change the lyrics to be about him. That's one of them. That's one of them. He's never seen it and he doesn't care. But for me, I remember that song. It's so damn catchy. And I would just like make up lyrics that were about him for it.
That's great. Yeah, I won't sing it here, but for those who don't know Lambert the Sheepish Lion, go find it on YouTube. Great song. It is an earworm for sure. So the other thing I found, which was cool, was I found kind of the same books from this set over and over again, and I found a bunch I'd never seen before, and that is the Fraggle Rock books. But these are ones that I haven't come across. So this one about the Doozers. We have this one about that guy that I always forget his name, but he's that, big giant creature that lives above them. Fraggle Countdown. So it was just kind of cool to get all these as a set now, like because Moki's birthday present I find all the time, but I was just like, I'll grab it anyway. And then Gobo and the prize from outer space, like that just sounds fun. So those were great. What else is great? Little Tiny Toon Adventures with Hampton. Again, I always grab these when I can find them. I was just watching on Max the Tiny Toons Looniversity show, kind of this prequel reboot thing. And I gotta say, the thing that stood out to me the most is they made Babs and Buster twins, their brother and sister. But in the old show, they always said no relation. So it's just like, I was like, that's against canon. You can't do that. Also, grab these here just because I always have to. I'll grab, some manga to sell. That always goes. I can count on it. This was really cool though. A Super Mario Brothers storybook goes with Chris's shirt today. But yeah, so this is just some really fantastic, pre-movie animated stuff art, which was fun.
It almost reminds me of when Valiant had the Nintendo license.
Yeah, let me look here. I don't think, because this is definitely a golden book. I don't think it's yeah, I don't see anything Jim Shooter or anybody else credit, but still, it's really neat art. The last book here, this was exciting to me. Last time around, I had a Babysitters Club board game, and you might be saying, well, then you just found a regular Babysitters Club book. No, I found the Chain Letter book. What this is it's about the Babysitters Club members going on vacation, and then different occasions where they're sending each other cards and letters. So they have mock-ups here, but then they'll literally have an envelope with a handwritten letter inside, and so these are like props from the Babysitters Club universe. It's like, oh, I'm in Hollywood, let me say. So anyway, this fascinated me, just this creation of all these different occasions. Like, why would you need to share this? So anyway, that was cool. But that is it for my books this round. Some unique items there. But Chris, take us back around. What do you got?
All right. So my next stack of stuff, these are books that I had. I did get them thrifting and hunting at one point earlier on, but at the Portland Doll and Bear Expo, Muriel Farian, I think that's how you say her name. I'm sure somebody will correct me. The creator of Strawberry Shortcake and Care Bears was there signing books. So I took a couple books to be signed. So I had this one signed, the Strawberry Shortcake Cooking Fun book, because in addition to everything else I could collect, I collect cookbooks and 80s stuff. So that was a perfect blend for me. And having her signature on it was pretty cool. And then I also collect coloring books. And so I was able to get her to sign this nice condition, unused Strawberry Shortcake coloring book I had in my collection. Also at that doll show, I found this. I like tins and lunch pails and all that type of stuff. I sort of like the related to the toys of the 80s type of things. And so finding this little tin was sort of nice. I got it home, showed my wife, and she goes, "Oh, that's nice. It looks just like the one I already have." But it'll be cool. This one will probably go up on at one of my flea markets that I do, or one of my toy shows that we're working on. Also at that doll show, the very first thing I found when I was there were a couple of these carded posable Care Bears, which I've never seen them carded before. I always see them loose. I have a number of loose ones, but never found them carded. So I got Funshine and Cheer Bear, and they were a little spendy, but not out of the realm, and they weren't over eBay prices. She cut me a deal on them because I got those and the strawberry shortcake tin. And then going back to my friend's booth at the flea mall or at the antique mall that he's at, he had one of these up, a carded Golden Girl figure. So this is the third out of the series that I've gotten so far. I've collected. I didn't start out to collect these. I just went through a fantasy sword and sorcery toy phase and happened to upon a couple of them, and then now I'm apparently working on the run. So it just sort of came up on me. And then I'll do these last ones before I get to the cool ones at the end. One of the trades I worked out with a buddy at the Albany flea market was a bunch of the mini Transformers Generation 1 figures. So I grabbed 4 of them. I don't know which ones I need for my collection still, but I picked them all up because, well, you can never have enough Transformers, I've discovered, especially the little ones. They're pretty awesome. Kevin, I'll kick it back to you.
Ooh, all right. Okay. It was mentioned to always pick up manga to either enjoy or resell or both. So I found Ranma 1/2, Volume 1, which I will probably just end up reading. It's an older one because it is American style, not how it's supposed to be. So it is an older printing of it. And then I found Real Bout High School #1, which just looks like people in high school beating each other up. I don't know. Let me do. They work together. Okay. Trying for my comic strip collection, found a bunch of Heathcliff. Heathcliff's been around a long time, guys, but if you have read it recently, it is very surreal and very ridiculous and fun lately. So I got Heathcliff Best of Friends, Heathcliff 1, 2, 3, and You're Out, Heathcliff at Home, which I'm pretty sure I have like 5 copies of, so I need to organize these better now. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and You're Out, and Heathcliff Round 3. So I am pretty sure, I mean, I got doubles in here, but I don't find these as often as I would like. So anytime I find these collections, I grab them. This was actually mentioned on the recent Kevin Smith podcast, and then it felt like kismet that I would find it. But the Jedi Masters quiz book. So the kid was in junior high or high school when he made this book, just for the heck of it for his friends, and he got published. Yeah, Rusty Miller, little kid, ended up making it, and it got published, and he sold a bunch of copies and everything. But I mean, he went through everything that was known at the time and wrote up a thing for it. I might try this whole other side thing that eventually I'll do a post on, but all of a sudden I realize I can speed read. So I'm like trying to blitz through things. I think all the studying I've done over the years is now carried over into reading for pleasure. So I'm like, all right, let me just grab random stuff. So I found this Catwoman novel. So I was like, that just looks cool. I'm very curious. Sometimes some of the novels end up being good. The Kingdom Come novel is actually really good to read alongside the graphic novel. So who knows? And it kind of, I can't quite pinpoint the era, but it feels like we're parroting someone. And I'm not quite sure who. Like, not Jim Ballant, I know that for sure, but like it reminds me of someone's art, and I just can't think of who right now. I grab the Comic Digest every time. So I got a Jughead with Archie, Laugh, another Archie. I love these things. Jughead Double Digest, Pals and Gals, and a shock to me, not an Archie one, Richie Rich. I was very happy with that. I mean, I know they're stupid and ridiculous, but I love these things. And some mini ones. that I ended up finding, and I think I mentioned one previous, so I was very happy to find it again. But I got this mini Marvel Comics Spider-Man, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it before, but the mini Captain America, Cap for President, and I know I had this somewhere, and I don't know what happened to it, so I'm very glad to find it again. This one surprised me though. Rambo, Skyjack. So based on the animated, this one is from, oh my god, I can't even read it. I'm that old. Nope, there it is. 85, 86. And it's just like, you know, it's tiny picture book. Just like we usually find, it's just different size and scenes from, you know, cartoon style there. Last book I have, I got VHS for my last pile, spoiler. I was doing this more a couple years ago and was lucky enough to have people send me others, but the pulp novels, the ridiculous here's an action hero having his adventures novels and all, love them. Haven't found any in a while, kind of like let it go. I'm like, I'm just not finding them anymore. What I did expect was to not only find one, but to have it cross over with my love of pro wrestling. Because we've had Avengers and Punishers and Protectors and everything, but have we had a body smasher with intro from Captain Lou? Like, this is the dumbest thing. And I was so excited to find it. Get ready for 240 pounds of pure bone crushing power. I can only hope he fights crime looking like that. I had to, though. It's 384 pages.
Wow. I mean, how could I can't even conceive how that came to be. That's what I'm trying to imagine right now.
Printed in 89. God only knows. My government called me and I answered, Captain Lou Albano said.
That is pretty awesome.
Maybe I should do YouTube where I just take a chapter a day and just do like a spoken word performance.
I'll subscribe tonight if you guarantee you're doing it. I gotta find out about this story.
Oh god. All right. That is it. I have a VHS pile to follow up, but they'll come later.
Okay. I'm tapped out after this round. This is all I have because I only have like 3 VHS tapes. It's been very disappointing of late, my find. So I'll just share this quickly. I had to grab the Long Hot Summer, little Paul Newman action here. I only grabbed it because it was a CBS Fox, so that it grabbed that. This one, Grease Lightning, though, with Richard Pryor. I do love these older, Warner Brothers tapes. So looking forward to watching that one. And then this last one here is another that was just, this is a Columbia TriStar release, but similar to my RCA Columbia's Sylvester. It is the story of a horse. Melissa Gilbert is in it. So be it. So as disappointing as my VHS finds have been, I will say this find for me is, I don't know how I'm going to top it this year for me personally. Now, your mileage may vary, but I always go to the book section of whatever thrift store I'm in. Some I check more than others. And there's one in particular that literally just has all these bookcases just in the middle of the floor, and you can kind of go in and out, zigzag through. But I'm always like, occasionally I've seen like an issue of Wizard magazine there, and I'm like, oh, well, I already have it, but it's cool. That means they might get better magazines. So I hunt around. And this time I just took a shot, top shelf, pulled out a magazine, and I saw this. So this is 16 magazine, okay, from 1978 with Kiss on the cover. All right. If you don't know, I'm a huge Kiss fan. My own channel, I've shared my Kiss collection of the last, 20 odd years. So I kept looking, and yes, there were more Kiss covers. Okay. They kept appearing along with the members of, all the other teen idols and everybody like that. Bay City Rollers are the ones who end up on most of them. Okay. But most of them, Kiss is just small, and then Bay City Rollers are huge, right? but there were 20 of these magazines, okay? And every one of them has a Kiss contest, has a Kiss trivia section, has a report from a concert, has like how to make your own Kiss costume, like whatever, win Gene Simmons boots. I mean, just over and over again, Kiss content from 1977 through 1979, like just getting into this history of Kiss. And again, like we think of them now as a legacy act. I got into them in the 90s when they're a reunion act, but at that time they were teen idols, right? So just more and more 16 magazine. But the other exciting part is some of these have posters inside. So there are Kiss posters intact in the magazine, but also even the back covers have like a full pinup of each member of the band. So I was so excited to get at least one with each member, you know? So, you know, even Peter Criss. And nobody wants to be Peter Criss. Not even Peter Criss. All right. But either way, and then here they are, Kiss in Japan wearing kimonos when they went on tour there. So just the sheer volume of history that is contained in these pages. Now, someday I will sell them because this is for a different generation of Kiss fan than me. This is not my era. I was reading about them in Guitar World and Metal Edge and stuff like that. I was not buying 16 magazine for my Kiss info, but so exciting to me just to find that many issues and that much to comb through. So anyway, that's my big find. Like I say, possibly for the year. Time will tell. Oh, all right, Chris, we got to see what you got over there.
All right. Well, that was pretty epic. I don't know how I can't really top it. Luckily, it's not a contest. One of the other things at the show or at the flea market, I did finally at the end of the flea market get a few minutes to get away, and there was somebody with a big booth with $2 comic books. So I bought a big stack. I'm not going to show them all off, but I do collect weird war tale stories or weird war tales. I found 3 later issues that I didn't have. They're in okay condition. They're not the greatest, but then again, when it comes to that 70s and 80s stuff, I don't necessarily go for. I just don't want them to have like the covers ripped off. As long as they're intact, they can have a few wrinkles or maybe some corner edges. I'm also working on a run of Defenders. So I found a couple. I'm getting to the point where it's harder to find the issues I need that aren't going to break the bank. So hunting down $2 issues. First appearance of Azrael. I grab that every time it shows up because maybe at some point they may work him into a movie. We'll see. Always stop and grab the Spider-Man team ups, especially with characters that he always was fun with. Black Widow was always one. I like seeing her team up with him. Yeah, and then we got a cool Invincible Iron Man with the Serpent Society, or Serpent Squad. Just I don't know. I love Bronze and Copper Age comics, so I'm always grabbing them when I can get them for a decent little price. And that was a. By the time I got there, that bin had been picked through. I was salivating as I saw people bring by the comics that they were grabbing out of there. There was a lot of key, like first appearance of Deathstroke, somebody got for $2. So it sort of I was sort of bummed that I didn't get there fast enough, but you know, sometimes when you're selling, all you get is the dregs. Trying to think of which is the best path to go here. I think I'll go with this one. This is one for Kevin. I missed out on this at the last giant flea market, the Pacific Northwest largest garage sale that happens a couple times a year. Last one I went to, I saw these, and I was trying to make a bargain with the lady on them, and she was willing to come down a little bit, but I had to think about it. When I came back, they were gone. Well, luckily at the Albany flea market, my buddy had one, and we were able to work out a trade, but it was the giant Rowdy Roddy Piper glass.
That's huge.
It is huge. He called it the pimp cup because it's a monster cup. I was excited to get it. He collects Rowdy Roddy Piper, so this was a double, so he was able to let it go. But
is
this
there
thing
a bio on the other side? What's that writing?
Oh yeah.
It's his logo. Oh, it is a bio.
Yeah. Says Rowdy Roddy is the man that you love to hate. Smart as a fox, the Scott's full of tricks, mostly at the expense of his opponents. Piper is behind many of the plots that cause trouble for other wrestlers in the World Wrestling Federation. The goal of these schemes to help Piper get ahead. Piper wants all the fame and fortune he can grab. And then you guys were talking about VHS, and I didn't get any VHS this time, but it is VHS adjacent. So I got some video store advertising, 3D giant VHS box. So I got ET, which I thought was cool, is more of a throw-in for the deal, because the thing that I was really after, speaking of our guy Rowdy Roddy Piper, was this giant They Live 3D box. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's a lenticular glasses. I was just staring at it the whole show, and I was praying my friend wasn't gonna sell it. He didn't. We were able to work out a trade, so I got this, the Piper glass, the ET box, and the Transformers from him for some high dollar items that I had. So it was pretty exciting. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these yet, but I was so happy to get this Rowdy Roddy Piper box. And that's all I got for today.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, woo. Always a surprise. You never know what Chris is going to come up with. All right, Kevin, VHS, baby.
All right, I lucked out. There is a place that I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive. I don't want, let me be nice. I'm almost positive one of the vendors at this antique mall just goes around, picks up a bunch of stuff, sorts it out, and has booths in multiple locations. And I don't think he has anything else that he does. And I think he hangs around the antique malls for a long time. One of the things I believe he does is just goes and buys out VHS lots. And I'm pretty sure he has a big area that he drives around. Because I've seen things, I'm like, pretty sure I saw a Craigslist ad for this, but this was like 200 miles away and I wasn't doing it. I think he's the guy doing it, though. So I will, if I know, because there's a few of them I follow, few of the stores I follow on Facebook, it's like, oh, vendor 57 has been back and thrown more VHS, I'll try to check it out within the week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be interested. It was a good time. So, first of all, and if you know this movie, you know this movie, Midnight Madness, starring a very young Michael J. Fox. I believe it was an HBO one. I think that's where I saw it. Like, I'm sure it's not a good movie, but I have vivid memories of watching this movie. Never seen it. Didn't know that, or sorry, I have seen it once. I did not know they had it for the longest time. One of my favorite things in the golden age of renting VHS tapes is finding the like stand-up comedy corner and discovering a lot of people when stand-up was huge and all. But to see stand-up people make a movie was shocking to me. So I've seen this once, haven't seen it in forever, can't wait to watch it again. Penn Teller get killed. Look at the hair on both of them back then, too.
Yeah. I remember that VHS box at the store for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's stupid, but it's the fact that it's Penn and Teller doing this that I'm like, I gotta watch it. What order do I want to go in? I'll do this. This was not a clamshell. It was obvious cut up for rental to then be put into a clamshell. So that kind of sucks, but I have it. Thundercats Spitting Image. I believe there's only one episode, runtime 30 minutes. I'm sure I rented it when I was a kid. But yeah, it's a cut up clamshell, but it's the actual tape and everything. And I'm like, do I have this on DVD? Yes, but it's still cool to have the fun, to have these. I will do this order. All right. I showed a Jim Lee thing, which means I have to show something from who else?
McFarlane?
McFarlane.
Hey!
So the Facts and Illusions. I think this is the one that came packaged with a Spawn figure way back when. I think they did like a giant case, so there was like a Spawn figure, and then you got the VHS tape with it. I have a weird memory of this. I'm not sure if I'm right. And it's just Todd talking about comics and showing his art and drawing some stuff. Like, it's just Todd hyping himself, but I'm almost positive it came with like a basic Spawn figure, I think.
That would make sense
So-
because I have found that at a thrift store as well before. And it's a fascinating like conversation. It's basically like him at a con. Like this is what I think
Yeah.
about comics. I think you're 13 years old. You can handle this comic and the violence and everything. Yeah.
And kids love chains. There's a barcode on it, so maybe it was sold separately at some point, but I don't know. I feel like I want to say Walmart, maybe Hills was still around, or Ames, like a package like that, some big box store for both, I think. I got 2 wrestling. It's me, so they both involve women. But I found No Holds Barred, the Super Ladies of Wrestling, with Nasty Cat, Reggie Bennett, Black Venus. I think the only one I'm pretty sure I know Terry Power on the cover. I think Tina Moretti might be Ivory. I think, if I recall correctly. I'm sure compared to modern day wrestling, this is terrible. But it's wrestling, so it has to be in my collection.
Well, that used to air with Spanish commentary that they dubbed over on our local Spanish station growing up. So I used to watch LPWA on just like, oh, it's
all right.
Put this on, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, I'm sure. Okay, I'm sure it's bad, but I'm sure it's better in-ring action than Glow.
I can confirm this.
However, speaking of wrestling and terrible in-ring work, we have the Nitro Girls. So it was the Nitro Girls swimsuit calendar. I believe this was originally a pay-per-view, and then they released it. It's one of the few things WCW released for home video. Like WWEF has a ton of stuff that they release, Coliseum Video and everything else. WCW, if there's more than 20 they released in stores, I'd be shocked. Honestly. Just one of the things that they never did right, and that's why they're not around. I was shocked to find 2 of these. Again, I think I have the whole series on DVD, but to find the tapes is fun. And what was also interesting is they're from 2 different companies too. So we have Cops, The Case of the Iceberg Pirates. And I do remember this one, 23 minutes. It's the only episode on here. Okay, fine. Golden Book Video. So I do, and there's barcode, but Golden Book Video. So I'm like, did it come with a book at some point? And, like a package set for it? Not sure. But this one was definitely sold on its own, and it's from Just for Kids Video, Cops the Big Shakedown, but it's 2 hours of Cops episodes. So I was like, all right, that's cool.
That's unheard of back then. Like you say, it was usually 1, maybe 2 tops. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I got a Be Kind Rewind. We got a sticker. It was definitely a rental and all. I dig the back, just being more, action pose and everything. But again, I'm pretty sure I got the DVD, but this cartoon was so much fun. And I'm gonna say, I think for the rest of my life, anything I find for this franchise, I'm gonna have to buy. And I think Adam's gonna be in the same category with me for this, and I think we all know why. But I couldn't believe I found it, and it's Thrift Store Horde.
Whoa, yeah.
I have to. I might get rid of any of this other stuff just for the heck of it, or because it's taking enough space. This is staying though. That's just how it is now. So it's a big box, which is really cool. Huge art on the back. Absolutely love it. But what I really love is it flips open. It doesn't slide out. And then that tape is just a beautiful yellow for it. That's so cool. Again, it's got $1 charge if tape is not rewound. It's got all the former rental stuff. Does it say 44 minutes? So I'm guessing I got 2 episodes on here. And I'm old and I can't read, but there's definitely 2 episodes in this black font on here that I just cannot read right now. But yeah, I cannot find my Masked figures anywhere, and that really upsets me. I think I got rid of them in a yard sale 20 plus years ago, if I had to guess, because I can't find them, so that's my best guess. and I will just have to hang on to this and anything else I find in the meantime. But I will always be happy that I find stuff like this, and for Thrift Store Horde, all the better.
Man, that is a fantastic collection. I mean, from cops to mask to the wrestling, like all of
Yeah.
it. I do not see that type of variety in my hunts. That's for sure.
And honestly, I usually don't. And going back, I'm like, I'm convinced it's one guy going around, and he curates his booth pretty well, and it's to my benefit. And I'm keeping my mouth shut when I see him, because I'm like, if he knows what he has or knows I'm coming or whatever, like, let me just come in, sneak, grab what I want, get out.
All right. Well, Chris, did you have anything else to close us out here?
Nope, that was what I got. I have a number of big fleas and other markets and thrift stores and antique malls I'll be hitting up this month. It's like April's my prime hunting month, so I got a lot of stuff coming up here this month. So hopefully cool stuff to bring.
Yeah, so stay tuned, stay subscribed for May. Make sure that you are ready to join us then. We are excited to be back again and again showing these things. And honestly, like, I've always thought, like, we're gonna run dry someday, right? And we just never do. There's just so much to be found out there. So everybody, make sure that not only can you stay subscribed here and find out what we're going to be up to next, but go on over to theretronetwork.com, the home of Geekster. That's right, we are now a part of the Geekster family here on Thrift Store Horde. So see what's going on over there. Maybe you're somebody who has a collection you want to share. Maybe you just don't know how to put a website together. Maybe you've always wanted to do a YouTube series, but you don't quite know how to put together a podcast. Whatever it is, Geekster can be the home for your creativity, for your passion, wherever you want to direct that. We're here to help, and we'll certainly provide that, infrastructure for you to share that with the world. So we'd love to see your own collections. But again, thank you so much for checking this out. Hey, until next time, we'll check you later.
This has been a presentation of Geekster Media.